Hello and welcome to the Petticoated Swashbuckler. My name is Maren and today we are visiting the 1260s. And that feels like coming home. So, first of all, I am so sorry for the delay in this video. It should have been up in like mid-October. Instead, we are now approaching mid-November. Life happened. I had to figure out the selling of a flat and the fixing of my car, and I just had to postpone anything that had to do with filming or editing or publishing or anything like that. However, we are back. In the last video, I made an 1160s outfit fit for a queen. This video, along with the next one actually, are going to be a bit different. And this is because when I started doing medieval reenactment, it was the 1260s. That was like my focus area. I have made a lot of 1260s clothing over the last 12 years. I've made shifts and hosen and dresses and overdresses and kirtles and tunics and shirts and cloaks and hoods and different kinds of accessories and headwear. The source that I have used the most for my 1260s clothing is a wonderfully illustrated manuscript. It's often called the Morgan Bible, the Crusader Bible, or, sorry if I'm butchering the pronunciation of this, but the Maciejowski Bible. And it's an amazing source, consisting mostly of stories from the Old Testament that are kind of suitable teaching examples for kings and princes. It was most likely produced in France in the mid-13th century. What makes it such an incredible source for how people were dressed is that it's so richly illustrated, and all the illustrations show people in clothing from the mid-13th century. I have several outfits that are inspired by illustrations in this Bible. And the first 1260 dress I ever made was also made in a dark green wool, so that I could recreate a number of these outfits. And that green dress and I, we were on a lot of adventures together. We visited several countries. We went on pilgrimage in rain, sun and snow. We cooked many delicious meals. We danced the night away. However, after a decade of heavy wear, she began to show her age. The sleeves had kind of felted in a sort of permanently bent three-quarter sleeve shape. And like all the fabric from my knees down was also either really felted or really threadbare, because I'd been walking through wet grass and wet bushes and brambles and thorns. And the fabric under my arms were really, really threadbare. Just like the fabric of the thread had been just worn down. And the hem was looking a bit shabby and the neckline was starting to sag a bit. My sewing skills had also developed. I made choices and used techniques back then that I know now that probably wasn't giving me the right result or wasn't the most historically plausible. So I decided to retire her and make a new one. Now, she's still with me. I have made this hood from her. This is, I'm not sure if you can see, but this front seam here, this is the old front gore on the skirts of that dress. And I love this. This hood is great for whenever I need like a lightweight rain cover or something around my neck or something. Sorry, I'm just going to stop a cat from ruining a chair. There we are. However, I needed a new decent gown. I have one that I use for everything that's dirty. Walking, cooking, cleaning, pretty much a dress that I don't have to worry about, but I still wanted one that looks kind of decent for when I'm dressing up. So I thought I'd show you how I make one. Now first I measure myself. I measure my chest, my upper arm circumference, my wrist circumference, my shoulder to where I want my hem, and how long I want my sleeves. I then cut one body, that is half my chest measurement and double the length, 4 skirt gauze, 2 underarm gauze and 2 sleeves. The skirt gauze are triangular and as long as I want my gauze to go and as wide as the fabric allows. The underarm gauze are just 10 centimeter squares. I begin by stitching the sleeves to the shoulders. I use a running back stitch and then I lay the seams afterwards. I find that this works really well on felled wools, and it makes for really strong seams because you've kind of stitched every seam twice, so it holds really well. I then set in the underarm gauze. I have a fairly in-depth explanation on how I do this in my very versatile shift video that I will link somewhere up here. But to put it simply, I fold each square into triangles and the middle point of the triangles goes into the corner between the body and the sleeve. This gore is super important for creating the broom that you need to actually like lift your sleeves up above your head. Then I attach the side gauze. When I cut my gauze, I often end up with some that are complete and some that will need a seam down the middle. And I always use the latter kind for my side gauze. I find that that gives the neatest look. After setting in the triangular gauze, I stitch the sides together all the way up to the underarm. For extra width in my dresses, and 1260s dresses tend to be very long and very wide at the hem, I use triangular gauze in the front and the back as well. I carefully cut up the middle, front and back of the dress and insert the triangles. The point is a little fiddly to get even and nice looking, and all I can say is it takes practice. I've made a lot of dresses with those gauze now, and I sometimes, screw it up. Now I need to measure the length and the width of the sleeves, but to do that I have to put the dress on, and so far we have nowhere for my hand to go. So let's start there. I have found that a CD is about the size I need to start with, and then I add a slit in the mid-front. I keep lengthening that slit until I can fit my head in the neck opening. Go small and make it gradually larger, and you'll find the size that works for you. After trying on and measuring how I want my sleeves, I cut away the excess and stitch down the sleeves. I hem the sleeves, even up the skirts and hem those as well. I hem the neck opening. Now for some outfits. The ladies in the Morgan Bible tend to have long, blonde, flowing locks. Blonde I cannot do, but I can do long and flowing. And here is the finished dress. I can probably make the low sleeves even narrower. 1260 is the era of quite wide upper sleeves and very narrow lower sleeves. Perhaps I could even do a couple of buttons at the cuff. They were just coming in at this point. I do love how the dress pools at the hem on the floor though. Now for the recreation of this look. My surco is red wool lined in grey wool. I think maybe the original might have been lined in grey fur instead, but I had wool. It is trimmed with yellow silk at the neckline. The 1260s is a very minimalist period in fashion with very little trim and decoration, so it's fun with a little yellow. I chose to wear this with my pillbox hat, made from a reproduction mid-13th century silk brocade. The surco is a very, very long, and images of women walking in these show them carrying excess fabric under their arms, like this. Then for the recreation of this look. Now this garment is called a garde du corps, a sort of travelling coat to put on over a tunic or dress. It has really long sleeves that are mostly for decoration and a big hood that is perfect for when it rains. Did medieval women really have hot pink wool for their coats? I don't know, but the Morgan Bible lady has a pink garde du corps over a dark green dress, so I made a pink garde du corps to go over my dark green dress. However, I lined it in dark blue wool to be able to switch to this. I call this my religious look, and it is inspired by this image here. On my head, I wear what is called a barbette and a fillet, a strip of linen under the chin and then a strip of linen or a ruffled sort of crown-like thing of linen on the top. This look was supposedly pioneered by the Queen of France, who wanted to hide her double chin. Now, how do you like my 1260s wardrobe? I'm so happy to show it to you. Welcome back for the next one. God knows when that will be, hopefully like in a week or something, when we're going to visit the 1360s. But until then, bye! You don't like other people getting attention to you, but you are very cute.